Good morning, friends. Today we are starting a new chapter, chapter number 13, magnetic effects of electric current. Now, the chapter on electricity was done a long time ago. So, if you want, before this chapter, you can revise our chapter on electricity. We saw the terms like electric current, potential difference, resistance, power, electrical unit, and heating effects of electric current. Now we are going to move to magnetic effects of electric current. Now you should know magnetism was known more than 3000 years ago, and Chinese used the magnet to form a magnetic compass. And electricity, static electricity was also studied thousands of years ago. But how was the connection between magnetism and electricity formed? Now you will be surprised to know it was because of an accidental discovery by a scientist called Hans Christian Ørsted. Now what happened is this scientist was doing some experiments in his laboratory regarding electricity. And when he was doing his experiments on electricity, he noticed something. Now by mistake, a magnetic compass was placed near the wire, and you will see what he observed. So let us begin. I have got a small GIF where you can see what actually happened. Look at this diagram and observe it carefully. When the person touches the wire to the battery and the current is flowing through the wire, you see a deflection in the magnetic compass. So in the normal condition, the magnetic compass points towards the north and south, but when the man touches the wire and the current is going through the wire, the magnetic compass shows a deflection. So this was actually an accidental discovery that took place in 1820. So in 1820, Hans Christian Ørsted was doing some experiments on electricity, and he accidentally discovered that a compass needle got deflected when an electric current passed through a metallic wire placed nearby. So this was a very accidental discovery, but later on many people got interested in this. So Ørsted showed that electricity and magnetism is a related phenomenon. Like I told you, for thousands of years people knew electricity, people knew magnetism, but they did not know that electricity and magnetism were related. This happened by chance due to an accidental discovery. This discovery led to the radio, television, fiber optics, and the unit of magnetic strength is named Ørsted in the honor of Hans Christian Ørsted. Okay, so this is just an accidental discovery. What is the discovery again? When a current carrying wire is placed near a magnetic compass, we see a deflection. Now certain questions come to the mind again. What questions? You see the needle is deflected. Now we know a magnetic needle cannot be deflected without a magnetic field. So this would mean that the current carrying wire is producing a magnetic field. Yes? So the current carrying wire is producing the magnetic field. Only then it would show a deflection. Now what will happen if you increase the current or you decrease the current? It is said here that the electric current through the copper wire produce a magnetic effect. So we now know electricity and magnetism are linked to each other. But now certain questions come to the mind. What questions? What happens when you increase or decrease the current? What will happen if you change the position of the wire with respect to the compass? What will happen if you reverse the polarity of the current? What does reverse the polarity mean? Suppose the current is flowing from this end to this end, positive to negative. Yes, current always flows positive to negative, we know, when the magnetic needle is placed here. Now you will change the polarity and make the current flow in this direction. So when you reverse the polarity, what will happen? If you change the position of the needle with respect to the wire, what will happen? If you increase or decrease the current, what would happen? So scientists now started doing a lot of experiments based on electricity and magnetism. They increased and decreased the current and observed the deflection. They changed the position of the wire and observed the deflection. They reversed the polarity of the current and observed the deflection. And after all that, they gave certain rules which we are going to study in this chapter. Now, you saw that the wire produces a magnetic field which is observed by the deflection of the needle. But suppose there is no needle nearby, then how will we know that there is a magnetic field around it? So what is this magnetic field? Now to understand magnetic field, we will go back to something in time called non-contact forces. Have you heard? You must have heard in chapter 9, the force is called non-contact forces. So we know three non-contact forces. One is gravitational force. Why it is called a non-contact force? Because to apply this force, two bodies did not be in contact. An aeroplane flying on the surface of the earth in the sky also has gravitational force acting on it. The second is the magnetic force. You know, if you place a magnet and the iron pin is at a distance from it, this will be attracted by a magnet even though they are not in contact. And third is the electrostatic force, which you did the small experiment of rubbing a dry comb with your hair and making bits of paper dance. Now these three are non-contact forces, means they did not be in contact. So Michael Faraday is a very famous scientist. He gave a theory. This theory is called a field theory. What is the field theory mean? It means this magnet, it modifies the space around it. Like the earth, our earth is modifying the space around it. This space is called the gravitational field. This space around the magnet is called the magnetic field. So he said any magnetic particle inside the field will experience a force. Ones outside will not experience a force. Same goes for gravity. Any object inside the gravitational field of the earth will experience a gravitational force towards the earth. Anything outside the gravitational field will float in space. And in the 9th standard you did the universal law of gravitation also. But now, like I told you, if there is no magnetic needle near the wire, then how do we know that the magnetic field is produced? And what is the direction, what is the strength of the magnetic field? So now we'll study magnetic field and field lines. Now we know that the ends of a compass needle approximately point towards north and south direction. The end pointing towards north is called the north seeking or north pole. It is actually the south pole which is seeking the north. The other end points that towards south is called the south seeking or south pole. We also have learned that like poles repel while unlike poles of the magnet attract each other. So this is all we have learned about magnetism in the previous classes. So you must have also observed, you have studied electricity in a separate way, you have studied magnet in a separate way. Now we are trying to link the two. Now before we do that, let us go back to the magnet only. Without the electricity, only the magnet. What can you see in the picture here? A bar magnet. You can see a bar magnet. Okay, now like I told you, a bar magnet has got a magnetic field around it. But how will you observe the magnetic field? So a small technique is shown here. Take a piece of white paper and sprinkle iron fillings on it. What to sprinkle? Iron fillings, that is powder of iron, very small fillings of iron. You sprinkle on the paper. Okay. Now take a magnet below the paper and gently tap the paper. Keep on tapping the paper. What will happen? As you will tap the paper, the iron fillings will start to arrange in a pattern. So this diagram shows how the iron fillings are getting arranged. So what did this magnet do? The magnet exerts its influence in the region surrounding it, and therefore the magnet which is exerting a force, the iron fillings will experience this force and start to arrange themselves. Okay, so the region surrounding the magnet in which the force of the magnet can be detected or experienced is called its magnetic field. So Michael Faraday gave this theory of a field, that any magnet will modify the space around it, and the space in which the magnetic force is felt is called the magnetic fields. Okay, so we understood the magnetic field. A magnetic field is the space around the magnet in which the magnetic force can be felt. Okay, but we cannot see the magnetic field. We can only show an observation by its field length. So what we did, we sprinkled the iron powder here, tapped the magnet, tapped the paper, and you can see the iron fillings have arranged themselves, giving us how the magnetic field lines look like. But remember, you made it on a piece of paper, so it may look flat, but around the magnet it is not flat. It is fully a sphere like a ball. Like Earth's gravitational field, every magnet has got a ball around it like a sphere, which shows its magnetic field, but field lines are only drawn to try to understand this magnetic field. Okay. Now how can you draw the magnetic field lines? Suppose you want to draw them. In this picture below you can see these are the iron fillings. Yes? When we tap the paper, the iron fillings rearrange. But if you want to draw, how will you draw it? So now we know that magnetic field is a vector quantity. It has both direction and magnitude. Magnitude means strength. Now what did it do? You can see what is done here. A magnet is taken and put on a white sheet of paper. Near the magnet at one end, a magnetic compass is brought. Yes? So if this is the south pole, the north pole will face towards it. Or if you put on this side, north side, the south will face here and the north is on this side. Now draw this point on the paper. What will you do? You will draw that point on the paper. So when you place the magnetic field, the place where the north is shown, you will draw this point here. Draw this point. Now take the magnet up in such a way that the south pole points towards this point. At north, draw a point. Now take the magnetic compass in such a way that the south pole faces towards this point. At the north, draw a point. So when you will start drawing, you will see the line starts from here, goes round in a circle and comes back to the other side. Now if you start from here, it will still go and come back the other side. If you start from here, it will go and come back the other side. So if you keep on trying this, you will get a pattern like is shown in this figure. Okay? So you can see the lines are starting from the north pole and ending at the south pole. Starting from the north pole and ending from the south pole. Starting from the north pole and ending at the south pole. So you can say that magnetic lines, okay, a bar magnet. This is which magnet? This is a bar magnet. So let us discuss the pattern in a bar magnet. So I have done something in red. By convention, we can say either way, but we have taken a rule. By convention, we have to say the field lines emerge from the north pole and merge at the south pole. Means we have taken the convention. These arrows we have drawn. You can draw the lines, but you do not draw the arrows. By convention, by rule we have taken that lines start from the north pole and at the south pole. Start at the north pole and at the south pole. So outside the compass, the magnetic field is which direction? Remember, it is always north to south. Outside the magnet, it is always north to south, outside. So inside the magnet, we'll take it where? South to north. So this is convention. So inside it is going south to north, outside going north to south. Inside south to north, outside north to south. So inside the magnet it is going south to north, outside it is going north to south. So this is the point number 1. By convention, the lines emerge from the north pole and go towards the south pole. Second, observe the magnetic lines are closed curves. Closed curves, what does closed curve mean? It starts from north and ends at the south. Now here you can see this line is not complete. This line is not complete, but it doesn't mean it is not complete. The field is weak, but the line which has to start here has to end on the other side. The line which starts here has to end on the other side. Every line which starts from the north pole will end at the south pole always. They are always closed loops. But we cannot see the lines because the field is weak here, so the field cannot be felt here. The magnetic field cannot be felt here, but you have to remember they are always closed curves. Closed curves means which begins at the north pole should always end at the south pole. The number of lines on the north pole and the south pole will remain the same. Then observation number 3, the strength of the magnetic field. The relative strength of the magnetic field is shown by degrees of closeness of the field line. So you can see here the distances become more. The magnetic particles are far away, but here the particles are very near, the lines are near. Can you observe? You can see here in the drawing also. You can observe in this drawing. Yes? What can you observe in the drawing? That at the poles the lines are very close. At the poles the lines are very close. Away from the poles the lines are far away. Means a bar magnet is very strong at the poles. The bar magnet is strong at the poles and it is less stronger or weaker at the center. Remember this. So closed lines means the strength of the bar magnet. And the fourth very important point, no two field lines are found to cross each other. You can see this line, they start and they end, they start and they end, but they don't cross. Because, let us say, the field lines cross here. Now at this point what happens here? You can see one line is going in this direction and one line is going in this direction. So in which direction is the magnetic field going, you cannot say. But here we can carefully say that the magnetic field is in which direction. Okay? Direction. So, field lines, two field lines are found to cross each other. Never, no two field lines are ever found to cross each other. So these are the 4 observations regarding magnetic field lines in a bar magnet. Now here we have talked about a bar magnet, but there is a horseshoe magnet, a cylindrical magnet, a circular magnet, loop magnet. So there are different type of magnets, but these points you will always see. Only thing which will change is the pattern. So suppose I take a horseshoe magnet. A horseshoe magnet north to south. It will only have lines running north to south, but that's it. So according to the shape, the magnetic lines will change, but the other points will remain the same. What will remain the same? Magnetic field lines always move from north pole to south pole outside the magnet. Rule number 1. Where the lines are closer, the field is stronger. Rule number 2. The field lines never close each other. Rule number 3. And they are always closed curves is rule number 4. So this is how we depict the magnetic field lines in a magnet. So this is a real magnet. Now we'll move to the field lines of a current carrying conductor, because we saw that when a conductor is carrying current, it produces a magnetic field around it. So this was the actual magnet. Now we will study the magnetic field lines and the magnetic field of a current carrying conductor. So now this part of the lesson is moving to, so this was what we understood. First we saw the relation between electricity and magnetism, right? How the effect is seen, what happens when you increase or decrease the current, reverse the polarity, and so on. Then we studied magnetic field and magnetic field lines with a real magnet. This is a bar magnet. Next we will go to see what happens when electric current is passed through a conductor. Now you can see what is done here. First we will study magnetic field due to a current carrying straight conductor. First we begin with the simplest one, the magnetic field due to a current carrying straight conductor. So first let us keep the conductor straight. How it is kept straight? You can see in the diagram, a cardboard is taken. Can you see this cardboard? And from the center of the cardboard, a straight wire is passed. From the center of the cardboard, a straight wire is passed. Iron fillings are spread on this paper, on this cardboard. Iron fillings are spread. Okay. Now the switch is pressed and current is allowed to flow through this straight wire. Current is flowing through the straight wire. So you can see this is positive and this is negative. So current is flowing in this direction, shown by the arrow. The current is allowed to flow. Slowly the cardboard is tapped. What happens when the cardboard is tapped? The iron fillings will start to arrange themselves. And what is the observation? You can see the iron fillings arrange themselves in concentric circles. So concentric circles. So what you can see in a straight conductor, straight wire, there are concentric circles made around the wire. So they indicate the field lines around the straight conducting wire. Okay. Another observation now, the magnetic field produced by a given current in the conductor decreases as the distance from it increases. Means you can see this wire. Okay, the blue wire I have drawn here. Near the field is strong, but as you go far, the field becomes weak. So here, near the wire, the field is strong. As you go far away, the field becomes weak. Means, as the distance increases, the magnetic field will decrease. So here are two things we are observing here in a straight conductor, that in a straight wire, the magnetic field is in a circular form, concentric circles around the wire. Near the wire, the field is strong. As you go away from the wire, the field gets weaker. Okay. Now one question. You can see this circle. Okay. But how will you know if the circle is clockwise or anti-clockwise? It's a circle. Again, how will you know if the circle is clockwise, or it is anti-clockwise? Because the circle is complete, you will never know it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. The only way to know it is put a magnetic compass around it. The north direction will show, the arrow will show whether the circle is clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay? But these circles can be in two ways. What happens when you change the polarity of the current? Like the current was flowing like this. What if you change the polarity and make it flow like this? What will change? So it will still form a circle, but now will change direction of the circle. So even if the current is flowing in whichever direction, going top to bottom, that is positive, negative, or bottom to top, it will remain a concentric circle only. But how will we know? So you have got the right hand thumb rule. What is the right hand thumb rule? Imagine. This is a very, very important word. Imagine. Never hold a wire in your hand. Never hold a current carrying wire in your hand. Imagine you are holding a current carrying straight conductor in your right hand. So if you got a pen in your hand, hold the pen in your right hand. wrap your fingers around it. Hold the pen in your right hand. Okay? And open your thumb. So hold the pen in your right hand, open your thumb. Your thumb will point towards the direction of current. Can you try it out? Hold the pen in your right hand with the thumb open. The thumb is the direction in which the current is flowing. Then how your fingers curl is the direction of the magnetic field. So try to draw a pen. Yes, you are holding the pen with your fingers and an open thumb. So you are holding the pen with the fingers and the open thumb. The thumb shows the direction of current with your right hand. So the current is flowing in this direction. And how are your fingers? You can see how your fingers have hold the pen. They are going in this direction. So circles are formed like this. Have you followed? So if you hold the pen in your right hand with the thumb showing the direction of the current, then the wrapping of the finger will show the field. Okay? If you change the direction of the pen, then the current will also change the direction. So when the direction of the current changes, then the finger wraps will also change, that is the direction. So remember the right hand thumb rule. When you hold the current in your hand such that your thumb shows the direction of the current, then the curl of the fingers will show the direction of the magnetic field lines. So now we have turned the wire into the loop. You can see here that this wire is taken from one end from the cardboard, turned into a loop and put into the second end of the cardboard. So the current is flowing in this direction, here it is flowing in the upward direction, and here the current is flowing in the downward direction. When you apply Fleming's right hand thumb rule, then here they form anti-clockwise circles. Can you see the circles are anti-clockwise? Here the circle should be the opposite, they are clockwise. Okay? So here they point in the inner side, the direct arrows are in the inner direction, but here also the arrows are in the inner direction only. So the direction of the arrows remain the same. So here there is a small straight wire, here there is a small straight wire, concentric circles. Because the current is going up, here they have got anti-clockwise. So they are moving from this side to the other side. Here the current is going downward, so they are moving clockwise. But you can see that the direction of the arrows remain the same. Okay? And as we saw that the straight wire, the magnetic field produced depends inversely on the distance. Means you can see near the wire the field is strong. As you go away from the wire, the field becomes weak. That is the observation. We know that near the wire the field is strong, away from the wire the field is weak. Okay? So at every point, the current carrying circular loops, the concentric circles represent magnetic field, become larger and larger as we move away from the wire. As you go away from the wire, the circles become bigger. So by the time you reach the center of the circular loop, the areas of these big circles would appear as straight lines. Why? They are circles, but they never intersect each other. They will not intersect. So as they come closer and closer, they will start becoming straight here. They will become straight. So when you increase the current, the lines become more and more. They come closer and closer, but they will never intersect. Because they will never intersect, in the middle of the loop, they will become straight lines. So every point on the wire gives rise to a magnetic field appearing a straight line from the center of the loop. So in the center of the loop, now they will all look like straight lines. Okay? And the direction in the loop remains the same. So you can see they all are pointing upwards. Direction remains the same. So this was one loop. from straight conductor to a loop. Now what if we turn the loop into a solenoid? What is a solenoid? A coil of many circular turns insulated copper wire. So you take an insulated copper wire. What is insulated copper wire? Wire with an insulated coating. So take an insulated copper wire and turn it into many loops, forming a solenoid. So turn it around a cardboard or a paper, so that is called a solenoid. Now in this solenoid what happens is, there are many small circles. Here there are small circles, here there are small circles, here there are small circles. But when all the circles come together, the lines in the center become straight. So there is a loop outside something like this, loop going on the outside something like this, but center it is straight. So this solenoid, you can see this is the solenoid, the lines in the center become straight and the loop outside has become circular. Now remember anything at all? This magnetic field, this field lines inside the solenoid form parallel straight lines. But have you remembered this field? This was the same field like the bar magnet. So the magnetic field of a solenoid is same to that of the bar magnet. Right? So what is the difference between a solenoid and a bar magnet? Well, the main difference is, in a bar magnet the magnetism is permanent. In a bar magnet the magnetism is permanent, while in this solenoid you have got the current in your own hands. So when the current is on, it acts like a magnet. When the current is off, it does not act like a magnet. This is called an electromagnet. Very important. In an electromagnet, when you switch on the current, it acts like a magnet. When you switch off the current, it does not act like a magnet. Okay? This is one point. What? We can switch this electromagnet on and off. On and off. Second, again in a bar magnet, the strength of the magnetic field remains the same. But in an electromagnet, you can increase the current. Increase the current. So when you increase the current, the magnetic field will increase. Third point, number of turns, the loops that you took. You can see these loops. You can increase the number of loops. So there is three things you can do in electromagnet. You can turn it on and off. You can increase the current. When you increase the current, the magnetic field will become stronger. Third, you can increase the number of turns. Number of turns. By increasing the number of turns, the magnetic field will increase. So the electromagnet is in a much better way than a bar magnet. It gives us the same shape of the magnetic field, but an electromagnet you can switch on and off. You can increase or decrease the current, and you can increase the number of turns. So this is electromagnet. It is used to magnetize soft iron. So if you put a piece of soft iron in the center of the loop, then that iron will get magnetized. So we have seen the magnetic field lines and the different patterns formed when current goes through a straight conductor, a loop and a solenoid. This electromagnet is used in electric bells and electromagnetic cranes. If you get the time, try to find the information, or we are going to discuss this in the next lecture. I am going to end here. Thank you.